Yes, please.
Oh yeah, you had recording in progress, right?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
good. So we are all yeah, cool. My name is Sheil, and I work as a data governance consultant, data management practitioner, certified um with some bodies including DAMA, British Computer Society, DGI, and considering DCAM. Also certified, or yeah, certified with data protection, and I'm also a data protection commissioner with the Nigerian Data um, Protection Commission, Data Privacy Commission, Nigerian, yeah, NDPC, and so I'm an authorized auditor to audit NDPR, to audit data according to NDPR in Nigeria. Okay. Um, so my background is vast in IT, done like networking, I've done managing databases, I've done managing infrastructure. In fact, my last work without when before I moved to governance full time was infrastructure engineer for a shipping company. And so I've done various things, and I've also gone on to school, not just saying this, but I've a degree in IT. Okay, so I've traveled, I've spoken at conferences, been guest on television programs, different talk shows, speaking about IT and data specifically in most cases, speaking at conferences and stuff like that. So I'm just saying this to give you a background to say that I have some experience and I will be unbiased in my answers if you should have some questions, and I'll be unbiased in my sincerity of what I think we can offer you on this program. All right. Most of you are here because you've registered for this um, sort of master class rather, because we are familiar with master data concept, master class with eels and text. So let me just give a bit of intro into that before I go on. Okay. Now, we are talking about data management here, and one key concept or key capability within managing of data is data governance. Okay, so I'll go on to explain data governance cost, but let me do the housekeeping and the disclosure. This meeting or this meeting online session is being recorded, and I'm sure you probably have heard it's being recorded. We're doing this for the sake of GDPR, so you're aware that you're not being recorded against your interest or your consent. This is the recording is not to do anything to your personal data other than to keep it for reference. As some students after this session we said, can I listen to that again? Or some people might have put down their name to come, but for somebody area was at work, they probably would have distractions while this session is going on and they want to refer to it again. So the recording is there as an opportunity for you to recall to what we talked about and all that. That's why we're recording the session. At some point, if you'd like to ask a question, it would be proper, it would be the norm and acceptable for you to put on your camera if you want to ask a question. It's just courtesy. All right, that is my own rule when I'm teaching you, and then you want to ask me a question. As you can see my face, I would like to see your face when you ask me a question. So please do that. When we are on this course, as long as it's not your turn to speak, right now it's my turn to speak, you shouldn't speak, so you should mute your microphone. And if you'd have a question while I'm still talking, before I ask everyone to ask a question, which I will do at the end. But if you have anything to ask, if you have something you think, let me ask this now, please raise your hand up in the reaction with using the reaction in the chat. And then I will stop and allow you to ask your question just so we are a bit orderly. Okay, that is just the housekeeping before we go on. Good. Next is, what am I trying to achieve or talk about this evening, UK time, this morning, America time, since we have America here and we have Nigeria too, evening Nigeria time. It's to talk about the understanding of data in this century, what data governance is. Who can work as a data governance professional, analyst, or manager, whatever role it is, or management or data manager here, like that, who can work in those. What are the adaptability that you might need, or transferable skills that you might need from where you are to go in to manage data? And once you do this course, what other roles does it expose you to in terms of opportunity? What are the rewards if you should go on to learn how to be a data manager or data management professional? Let me put it like that way. And why would it be nice if you train with us, with Ease and Tech, with myself? And why would it be nice? And we can take some questions after that. Okay. Now let's talk about data. And many of us would have heard a lot around data in the past few years. We've heard about big data. We've had data is this, data is that, data is, you know, before we just know data, but recently we have something called big data. So there is data, there is big data. Maybe in a few years' time, there will be bigger data set or something like that, but it's just saying to us that data had evolved from being data, just data. Now is big data. Now there is AI, there is machine learning, there is all these things that are speaking data. So to be in this century, in this world at this time, and to be obnoxious, or to be ignorant of data would not be the best thing, because data plays a role in our day-to-day lives. Our finances, our job, our productivity in life, as with the certain KPIs that we're measuring, our work, our personal goals, all those things are data that we can access and we can assess. All right. So data is more important. Now we can go on to the next slide and start talking about what is the power of data, right? Just in more form, or in more steps, in more granular steps. What is this power of data? The power that data has. Now, let me try and put that into a few points, because there could be more than these points that are here. There could be more, but just shorten for the sake of time and to just mention what's important. Power of data in an organization. Data is used to determine or improve outcomes, which means that data is used to see the benchmark, to see where we are, where we want to be, where we should be, what are the inhibitors, what are the enhancers. Data provides that much information to an organization. And that is why many organizations now are data falsy, data biased. Many organizations now are talking data. Not just organizations, governments of countries are talking data. Interestingly, the concept of data has been around for many, many years. Uh, Government has been using the data from sensors for policy making, for citizenry management, for infrastructure development, and so on. Data is what tells us that somebody wins an election or they don't, you know, and all many, many things. Okay, so data is very important. It informs policies, practices, planning, and decision making. Data helps with right communication. All right. Also, data helps in fulfilling reporting requirements. If you've had to report about how many people were in this area in March or in February or something like that, data will be used to get those answers and report on them. Data is used to evaluate programs and measure quality. You know, that is self-explanatory. And data is what is used to celebrate success. Data is used to contribute new knowledge and understanding to an organization, to a business. Data is what is used, to evaluate programs and measure quality and everything that we've talked about. All and many more is what data is to an organization. So if you're in an organization where they don't think data, that organization is not forward thinking and they might fold up in a matter of time because data is talking to them, but they are not listening. It's important for you now to begin to pay attention to data, even in your own personal life. Pay attention to your data, your life, your health data, for example, and all that. So data is just important. There's power in data. All right. Why is data important in a business? Like I've explained in previous slide, because we are now in a digital age where data is more important than before. Data is factored into everything, even including governance. That is why it's important to pay attention, excuse me, to data. Organizations that can effectively manage their data are better positioned to succeed in the marketplace. So let me um, put this like a quote so you can see that good, like a better quote. All right. Okay, while we are at it, let me ask okay, Law Priscilla, do you mind if I put you on the spot for one minute and ask you what other benefits of data can you think of? Is there anything that you might like to throw into this?
Um, let's see, data. I mean, it helps us to plan, like in the future, like especially in businesses, tracking customers, like interaction and customer, the things that customers are buying mostly, like it's all data. Um,
Good. Good. Yeah, you're right. Customer data is providing information around what the customers are buying, Instagram, all this platform, social platform, they feed on data. How much they know is how much you're providing through your data. So data is very important. Just that is all we're trying to say. Next is now like, let's go one step further. We know data, we know why it's important. So what is data governance? Data governance is establishing and maintaining a consistent set of rules, of policies and procedures for the management of data within an organization. That is what data governance is. Data governance helps organizations to ensure the availability, quality, accuracy, and security of their data assets, as well as to make decisions based on the data. That is what data governance is. Data governance streamline and restrict organizations from active agnostic of their data. Data governance says don't just go and do anything you like. Find out what data supports that action. If it's a research, find out what data brought about the research. What is the question you're solving? and what data do you want to bring out through the research and all that, so data governance is establishing, maintaining a consistent set of rules and policies. So in data governance, you're going to be dealing with stakeholders, engaging them. The first definition talks about set of rules, of policies, set of procedures, and all that. So each of those is areas that you're going to be engaging the business with. Those are what are some examples of data governance. Later on, when Mo join, she will give you her own dossier of data governance and what it is and what it is not. So let's see in practice now. Like, let's see in practice data governance. What does it look like? When you're talking of data governance, you're talking about data governance in itself contains, it's core to many other areas of managing data. It's core to managing data standards and process. It's core to managing data quality. It's core to managing data security. It's core to managing data access. It's core to managing master and reference data. And with that knowledge and with that management, it passes that knowledge resources into the business process. So with that, you are aware your process adjusts to match what data governance is requesting for in those businesses. Okay, that is why it is like that. And when it comes to business analytics, it's not it's like we talked before. Business analytics give report information inside to the business. And so, what guarantees that those business insights are accurate and usable is that data governance drives the standards for them. It sets the standard, it sets the expectations, it sets how to measure as well, who to measure, when to measure. All this goes into the business analytics side. And the response or what you have outside of that helps to improve governance, all these other portions that have been represented. And it is also used in the business process for accurate data entry, for timely, accurate decision and support for different things. That is how the loop around data works and help the business. Next, if you're going to work in data governance, what skills do you need? You need an administrative skills, which I'm sure all of us can or have. Administrative skills like being able to write notes, being able to write minutes of a meeting, being able to use simple administrative tools like Microsoft Office application, which has Excel, you know, PowerPoint, Word documents, Teams, IE provider, internet provider, and some other stuff like that. Those are the administrative skills you need, and to use those skills to say what you would like to say. Next is communication skills. What are these core skills you need to manage as a data management professional? Communication skills, helping people to understanding people and communicating with them in such a way that carries your intention and your instruction. Those two are not the same. Some people's engagement give to their audience their reaction and not a communication. And you want to be careful that you are communicating and not reacting, which is a skill, a soft skill to learn. But these are some of the things that you need in this career: good communication. Next is ability to read and write fluently. All of us here can do that. Ability to lead, set clear directions, and motivate people to achieve what those goals are that you have set, those direction, guiding people into it. That is the skill. Good character, good attitude, boldness, smiling, warm, warm. When office is warm and nice, many people thrive in there. So you as a governance person must be contributing into that culture. All right. So lastly, the courage to lead, to learn, to deploy people into their working environment. That is a core skill also. You need the courage to lead. You need the courage to learn. You need the courage to evolve and adapt in whatever working environment that you find yourself, because some of us, we work in different places more than one. Might work in Amazon today, in the next 2 years might be working in maybe NHS next months, or 3, 4, 6 months after that. Might be out working with F1 or something, but there must be consistency around you, which will cover um consistency of your knowledge, consistency of your skill, consistency of good communication. Once that is there, you bring a culture in your working environment that people will be able to, enjoy yourself as a person to work with, as a colleague, whatever. These are core skills that you need in governance. Let me run because of time. Now, if you go on to do a governance course, what can you apply for? Is it like the only job you can apply for is data governance analyst? No, you can apply for a data governance analyst role. You can apply for an information governance analyst role. You can apply for a data quality analyst role. You can apply for data protection or privacy officer role. You can apply for data stewards role. You can apply for metadata role. You can apply for master data role. You can apply for data manager role as well. You can apply for some other roles around data, but these are non-techie roles. All right. In these roles, you might use some data management tools, but not necessarily that it is all about techie stuff. There are only nuances, which means that like you would use your Excel sheets, there are tools that you can use in managing your data at the corporate level, which if the organization should have, you'll be exposed to using those. However, these are not techie roles. You're not going to go and learn C++, C++, C sharp, or F sharp, or Python, or this thing. They are skills you can learn, but they are not compulsory for the role you are going to be working in. While if you would like to and you are able to, you can pick learning Python or learning SQL, especially as a byproduct. Okay, but there are more roles for you to apply for. Learning only one thing, learning only governance or data protection data management. As a professional, you can work in many roles, all right, more than just one, by doing just one course, which is a good deal. So let's talk about the reward. The reward is there. The reward is good. We are in the world of data. We are in the IT world. So gone are those days where somebody throw coins on the table. In this a day and age, data is important. It's flexible. Is great. It exposes you. It tells your strengths, your weakness, and so that's somebody being able to be in that sort of seat within an organization is a power seat where people look up to you to give them information. All right. So, what are the rewards for you working in that kind of space? The work for most people, especially in the developed world, developed countries, is flexible. Um, I personally go to the office, and I worked once where I'm working. I go to the office once in 2 weeks. That's I go to the office twice a month. In my current contract, I go to the office when I want to go to the office, when and where I want to go to the office. So I go as at when I have to go. There's one also that I go twice in a quarter. In 2 to 3 months, I go twice. Yes, and this one's twice a month. So there is flexible. Now, some people go to the office twice a month, some goes 3 times a month, some goes 2 times a week, some goes once a week, and all that. So it's just always flexible working. In the UK, you would have like base salary of somebody who is working in governance around 40K, and that can work up to 120K. I'm talking about people who are working in a perm role, a permanent role that will be like a base like a range around it. If you're working contract you'll be thinking around 400 pounds a day to about 800 pounds a day, depends on the kind of role you pick up, you know, and if it is inside or outside IR35. So this is sort of the bracket range. Next is stability. The market is not saturated at the moment. We have, you know, non-techie roles like product, not product, like project management, like business analyst. Most importantly, that one is all saturated now, more saturated than even before. And so, if you're thinking alternative, this is a very good one for you. Very good one. And it's an easy route into tech. You need only this English that I'm speaking. And once you have this English, you are able to work with the core skills that I've mentioned before. And you have your, core skills include you being an administrator at heart, having able to use basic administrative tools. That's all you need. Next is that there's data governance community externally and internally. Externally, outside, like different forums around the world, yeah, data governance community. While also as a post, if you've gone through this course with EOS and Tech, what happened is you'll be entered into the alumni of the class, alumni group of data governance and data management professionals, where you have people already working we can help you with questions or tasks or anything else along the work. So, which ties me to the next slide, which is what we offer you? We offer knowledge, excuse me. We offer knowledge, providing you with foundational knowledge that you need to succeed in the work. We offer you support on the work, on the training. You get support through your CVs, your um, LinkedIn profile, through applying for jobs, through we offer you support in your learning. We provide you with two books to read for yourself, and these are the books you can even use for writing CDMP certification if you want to go that route, right? After coming out of that, we have projects so that after the course, you go through projects which you have to do, and submit to your project coordinator. Another thing is that you get into when you get into the business, when you launch, you are going to be launching with a good CV and a good LinkedIn profile because we're going to help you, we're going to assist you in how you create that CV that stands out in the market. We're going to give you tips and twists and all that of creating and crafting a good CV that gets an employer to call your name or someone you to like, let's talk. You see your CV, we like it. Okay. And like I said before, there's mentorship after, there is opportunity to mix with some other people who have come through this route and are already working. And one of them is on this call. Mo Polaniwa is on this course. So she's gone through this course and she's working. And then you can be able to ask us questions at the end, which I'll start. So, in conclusion, data governance is an exciting and growing field. Your career is secured because data governance is not going anywhere. So you'll be here for a lifetime. I dare to say you can enroll for a governance, a globally recognized governance certification. All right. You can have the opportunity of working remotely. Some people are even living in Nigeria and working outside. Okay. So it's all about what office you are working in or you apply to and what their terms and conditions are. Some companies allow work from Nigeria. Some allow work from other countries like India and all that stuff. But there is a way to work remotely even if you are working in Nigeria. If you're living in US, America, US, Canada, and then we have students in those areas as well. I'm sure Yana can give more information on that. We have students who have gone through the course who live in Canada, all those areas, UK, and have gotten job and working. You know, so what do you need? You need your hard work, the dedication, focus, set your goals. One of the things I do when I take in new cohort is I ask them to write down their goals. If you don't write down what you want to achieve, how do we know you achieve it? What does one of our questions in data management is what is the definition of good? How do you know you are good if you don't know what good is? So how do you know you hit it if you don't know what it is? So set your goals and start working towards it. And you can also plot your chart so that it can tell you I am 2 steps from this, I'm 3 steps from this. Once you work hard, you develop yourself, you study and all that, you are going to be the next success story. Don't delay, start now. Don't wait. Don't hold back. Don't start thinking about it. Don't snoop on it. Jump on this opportunity. The best time to get knowledge was yesterday. The second best time is today, as long as you are not taking advantage of knowledge and improving yourself. Somebody who takes the advantage will be ahead of you at work, at whatever place it is, because they know more. While you are still trying to develop, they've developed. Well, you know why you're still thinking, oh, maybe I will do it or something. Somebody has gone on to it, and they've made their life better for it. So now is the best time to take that step. That takes me to asking or opening to questions. So if you have any questions, please at this juncture, I'll be happy to take them before I invite more in. Any questions, please? Since we've had a few more people joining since we started. Welcome, Bibitayo and Apa Thompson and Ugochi. You're all welcome. Good evening. If at all you just joining, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I've just stopped sharing my slides that you came in. So we started over 30 minutes ago. So yeah, but this session is recorded and then you would have access to it later. So anything you missed, you can always get back in the recording. But welcome all the same.
Thank
Um,
you.
any questions from anyone before we go to Q&A with Mo? 1 minute remaining. That sound like some TV games here. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. Good. No questions. Okay. Maybe when we get to Mo's section, it will prompt more questions. Let's hope so. Otherwise, we will have done a good job then. Mo, is it a good time to bring you up?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Good. So let me put you on the spot because you are the celebrity spotlight.
Sorry. Okay.
Good. Good evening, Mo. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm very well. I'm fine.
Fantastic. Can you introduce yourself to everybody, please?
Okay. My name is Mojisola Bolarewa. Yeah, that's my name. And do I just share my journey, my
And just
experience?
yeah,
Right?
just tell us about your journey. Yes.
Okay. So my journey into data governance. So I started my career as a customer service officer in a bank, and I was heavily involved in ensuring KYC compliance. So that was my first exposure to the importance of data accuracy, consistency, and regulatory standards. Then from there, I transitioned into corporate communications in a professional institute. Then towards the end of my time there, I had the opportunity to act as the secretary of the institute. So there I learned and appreciated what the importance of structured information and process governance. And that was basically the experience I had before I heard about data governance. So I enrolled for the training with Uncle Sean, and I was taught the basic knowledge that I needed to get a job, to land a role in data governance. And after the completion of the training, I think the training was for 8 weeks thereabouts, then I started applying for jobs. And the role so I started applying for jobs. I did the first interview. I didn't get the job for the first interview, but the second interview I did, I landed, I got the role, and that's what I'm currently doing. So it was quite quick for me. And 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 since joining, I've developed frameworks, policies, started data stewardship programs, and I've done quite a little bit, or I've done many things anyway, in my 1 year plus experience in data governance. And I would say that it's incredibly fulfilling to help an organization, make better data-driven decisions and ensure compliance with data regulations. And it's quite interesting. There is a lot to unpack in data governance. It's fun. I would say it's fun, and it's so good to be here. And my advice to anyone that wants to join data governance would be to leverage the experience you already have with data, because data governance is very broad, and people from different backgrounds can bring valuable perspective to it. And just be curious, be willing to learn, and this is a good platform that you have. Uncle Sean is very hands-on. He has like a broad knowledge. His experience is vast. So I still enjoyed mentorship from him. Earlier today, I still learned something new from him that I didn't know I was going to, just catch from him. So it is doable, it is possible. If I'm able to do it, anyone else can do it. Yes. That's just
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And does anyone have any question for Mo? Anyone have any question for Mo? And you have a question, let's have it. Like I've heard this online. Let's have it. Let's have it. Let's have it. Okay, there is a question. There's a question here. And the person is putting their email address there, but this is the question. I'm unable to speak at the moment, but I would like to know what policies guide the work internationally. If you're talking about data governance or data management internationally, I know about the Nigeria Data Protection Act 2023. Yeah, okay. So I can answer that. Nigeria Data Protection Act is it's a byproduct of Nigeria Data Commission, right? And that's where the Nigeria Data Protection Regulation comes from, all right? And that is Nigeria. I can tell you of a fact because I reviewed the policy and all that. I reviewed and see it against vis-a-vis GDPR, which is General Data Protection Regulation, which works in Europe. It's the same. It's the same. It's just word for word like that. At least for GDPR. What they've done is just remove general and put Nigeria there. We have General Data Protection Regulation. They put Nigerian data. It's the same because Nigeria to play at the global stage has to sign up to data protection, and all that kind of things. That's like, for example, if you're a company and your customers are in Europe, you must abide by GDPR, even if you are not in Europe. As long as you are fishing, you are getting money from Europeans, like as your customers, whatever you are, they can find you. And if you are in doubt, just go to GDPR fines. Just Google it. You will see countries that have been fined all over the world, whatever. all that for missing out on data protection or GDPR. So it is, I'm saying to you that whatever countries you are operating in, you would have to understand what their own regulation is. We have the CPA in America, for example, so there are nuances into these things, but you generally they have the same broad perspective of protecting personal information of your customer. How do you protect them? Where do you keep their record? Who do you give access to their record? Under what basis? And on how long should you keep that record for? And under what should you do with it? There's one of those regulation policies or objective is right to be forgotten, lawful processing, all those things that are there to tell you what is the legal way of using people's personal data when they give it to you in trust because they are requesting something for you. They can withdraw that right back from you and all that. So it depends. Generally, there's a rule around that covers everyone. However, but in different countries might have nuances around them, you know. But so is what targeting into where actually are you talking? Because you say internationally is wide. Brazil, Togo, Senegal, America. International is a big deal. But if you have knowledge of Nigeria Data Protection Act, if you can go and study General Data Protection UK or General Data Protection Regulation EU, I think you've covered what international will ever ask of you, really. Do you have anything to add more? Yeah,
I don't. You've spoken. Then I'll just add. I'm not sure I understand this question because he said policies that guide the work internationally. So I'll just say that I think the generally acceptable framework for data governance is the DAMA framework. So I don't know. You could just read up on that. So maybe that would explain because I'm not very sure I understand what he means by, or if he means the professional body that
I
I
think
don't know
that
if
when
that's
it
what
says
he
what policies guide,
guide the work
and
internationally. I think
when he
you
was
might
talking about, I know because I'm responding from the fact that I said I know the Data
protection. Yeah,
Protection Act, which is a policies around data protection in Nigeria.
yeah.
So that is my sort of reasoning behind behind the answer. So if that is wrong, then you can let us know that, oh, I'm asking this, but I think probably that is the question is asking. Otherwise, Thompson, you can let us know. Well, I think that is it in my reasoning. Okay. Um, any other question from anyone? Any question from anyone? Okay, before I get someone else to bring in a question, let me ask you more. We won't be long. I promise that we won't really be long. But let me ask you a question. How do you, how do you, how was your transition, and what skills you talk about people should bring in their transferable skills and all that. So what are those transferable skills that you had doing customer stuff that you've brought in now, working in governance? How was it for you?
So I think transition it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be because like I said, I had experience in working as a customer care officer in the bank, and I was heavily involved with ensuring compliance with KYC. So I already understood what data accuracy means, why data needs to be validated before it is entered into the system. I already understood that. I understood the importance of consistency, and also I think that knowledge and of course regulatory compliance, that knowledge helped and is still helping me in my job because part of what I was brought on board to implement is improving data quality. So the knowledge and the experience I had from the bank, I'm bringing it in my job. Then another one is data protection and security. So for data protection, ensuring and implementing role-based access control so that only authorized people are able to view, data. So data protection too. So, and also I talked about the experience I had while I was acting as the secretary of the institute I previously worked. So if you understand governance, general governance or organizational governance, that structure, that experience, you can also bring it into data governance, because you will deal with, implementing or writing rules and regulations that guides the management of data. You design policies, do standard of procedure and all of that. So that experience that I've garnered over the years, they are transferable because I still need them now that I'm doing data governance. Yeah. So I hope
Thank
I
you.
answered the question.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You've mentioned what skills they are now. You've moved about. So, can you just let us know how was your first 2 3 months? What was your first 90 days? How does it look like for you coming from banking, customer service, and now into governance? And bank, you are in a different, what are the two sectors? How does it look like for you? You are non-IT, you're not in IT. Were you speaking C plus? Were you speaking Sharp and Python? Were you suddenly now like techie, how was it for you, your first 90 days in the new kind of role, career, you know?
I would say that um it was smooth in a way, because data governance does not require, like, the practice of data governance is tool agnostic, so you don't need a
And you
particular.
said Lagoon.
No, no. What I mean is that you don't require a particular tool, like specific tools, to practice data governance. The knowledge of your Microsoft tools, Word, it's I think it is the administrative part of data management, if that makes sense. So the knowledge of nothing, there was no drastic change as such. So it is still the same Microsoft suite that I was using before. That is what I started with, and that's what I'm still working with. Do you get? So it is something that you can do with basic knowledge, and you then grow and improve while at it. Yeah.
Okay, good. Does anyone have a question from the audience?
Yes. It's
Who is
Priscilla.
this, please?
Priscilla.
Hi,
So
Priscilla.
yeah, she mentioned there's no kind of tools similar, like it's the same administrative where we already know. What about I think I heard about Colibra or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. So there are bespoke data governance tools out there, but not every organization can afford it. So for example, I work in a housing company in the UK, and for many organizations, in fact for most organizations in that industry, they are just beginning to implement data governance. It is very impossible for me to go in as a data governance officer and tell them to buy Colibra or buy Informatica tool. It is expensive. And the
Mm,
good thing about data governance is that you can do it with available resources. You can do it with what you have. You can start from where you are. So, of course, data for organizations that have attained maturity, yes, they use these tools, but for many companies,
mm,
many of them are just beginning to implement data governance, so they can't afford, or that risk is too big for them to take at the start of implementation. So while those tools exist, many companies do not use them. So that's just the truth. So while you're at it, like I said earlier today, I learned that I could do something with SharePoint. Many organizations use Microsoft 365. You can do a lot with it. So if your company if they're able to buy Colibra, use Colibra, it is good. But if they don't, if they can't, you can use what is available and you still be fine.
mm. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mo. If I can add 5 cents to that, when it comes to data management tools, there are a few in the market, and I can imagine they will probably continue to grow, right? But those tools are expensive. Honestly, they are. A number of them are even per license. So, which means when you put them in the company, just like you're paying for every staff in 365 is paying a license. You know, if your company is 1,000 people, guess what? They might give you discounts, but 1,000 people are paying to have their own SharePoint sites, to have their own, PowerPoint and everything, access, that with their email, with their office email and also. So it's the same thing. Some of these organized or things, and they have, and some of them have. They are expensive. Most of them are actually. So it's important that you as a person learn how to use the basic tools to manage business where there is no money to go out scale, but where there is, be also sure that when these people are installing the systems in your environment, they will train you. They will train you. If your business is changing and bringing something new, those vendors will give you a training of this is how our solution work and everything, and they will give you those tools to continue to use them. But on your own, for example, Colibra, you can go online for Colibra University or something like that and learn about their tools there. But sometimes it's not what do you call that thing? It's not a very profitable thing to learn how to drive but never sit inside a car. And it's not the same thing when you're actually driving and it's pressing the brake. Like me, when was learning how to drive, they were telling me what to press. But when I jump into the car for the first time, I nearly crashed because if I was to step, the way I step on the car took off because I just said press this one and press this one to stop. I didn't know that there is a technique to how much you should put your leg on the pedals and stuff like that. So learning about tools without using them might not be, and you might even forget that if you don't use something, you lose them, isn't it? So I hope that works. Um, any questions again from anyone? Um, thanks, Priscilla, for that. Gabriel, Ifetokan, Lovett, Onyil Lade. Any questions from anyone before we wrap it up? So, let me ask you one question. What would your advice be for somebody who is sitting on the fence or let me ask you two questions. Let me ask you one question and two. Let me have you a combo 1A, 1B.
Okay.
1A is what does working in governance look like for you now in terms of your heading power or heading expectation, and that is one. Are you disappointed? Like, oh my God, yeah. Or it's like, yes, I think, do you understand? Because some people go and they do a transition only for them to go to the other side. I'm like, if I know, I'll just be kukuma do you understand? Some people are like, if you have deceived me. That's 1A. 1B is like, that is for you, but now give it someone who wants to come into data management and advice. I'm like, is this something you said? Oh yeah, I think this is, what would be your candid advice for anyone?
Yeah, my advice is that data governance is rewarding. It is financially rewarding. I remembered the first interview I did, and it was, I think the role was data quality analyst or something, and then the salary was 26,000 or thereabouts. I told Uncle Shane was like, no, 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 don't do that. Then my role, I earn over 40K right now, and the reason, and somehow I still feel like I could earn more, but the only reason why I'm earning what I'm earning right now is, I would say, because of my level of confidence and the level of knowledge I have. But it is also it is reassuring to know that this is the least I can earn.
It is.
Yeah, this is the least I can earn. And also with the part of UK that I live in, if you see adverts for data governance role, I think the list I've seen, with even with the civil service, the role I interviewed for in civil service then was £36,000 per annum, and the average salary in UK is £40,000 per annum. I think so anyway. I'm not sure now. But my point is, with the level of experience I have, my first job in data governance, I'm earning over 40,000. And with the level of effort I put in, my job is very flexible. I don't have specific hours of work. I can work between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. every day. I don't go into office every day. I am not micromanaged, if that makes sense. I
I
am
love
just
that.
paid. I'm paid to
I
deliver
love
on the
that.
job. Yes. And my it's kind of advisory. Even though I work with a company, it feels like though I'm a I'm consulting for them, if that makes sense. So it's rewarding. It's rewarding, I must say it's rewarding. It's a good one. And the market is not saturated. You don't need any professional qualification to practice, you know. And many of these organizations do not even have knowledge of data governance yet. So what you're bringing to the table is what they would accept. So it's a good one. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think I don't have any more to say than to just say yes. Those are my sort of my. I love the fact that you don't have this micromanaging thinking. It's and then the flexibility with time. Those are the two things for me that makes me still stay in career. If I don't have those ones, I'm going to feel like somebody is taking life out of me. If you're micromanaging me and saying, yeah, late today. What is the problem? I used to have that before in some other roles that I do where you have to clock in at something. So I just, but now I just enjoy doing the work and leave all those funny bureaucracies and that's what's it's easier to thrive in that environment when you're not pressured, you know, like that. So, well, I think I'll probably give you time. Thank you so much, Mo, for coming. It's wonderful to see you again and all that. And I'm sure this is the beginning. You're already a big woman. You're just trying to model, trying to keep it like just very big woman. And I know this. You can only go more and more and more. I can imagine if you try to venture on the side to a contract now, it's going to be 500 a day, 30 a day. Bring it on, right? Yeah, bring it on, right? Okay. Yeah, so that's it. So let me hand over to Ian if there's any other thing you would like to say before I take my leave.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sheol. Thank you, Uncle Sheol, big Uncle Sheol. Thank you so much, Bolariwa, for joining. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We really appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Mr. Sheol, for always doing this with us. I mean, we can't even pay you. All right. So I think since we don't have any more questions, we can just call it a day. And then class starts 12th of April. So you can reach out to us on Instagram, WhatsApp to register for the class starting so that you can have your slots um reserved for you. All right. So thanks so much everyone. Do have a lovely night rest. Bye.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
No, it's not night in Maryland.
Good night for you all.
Early.
Uh,
It's
Bye.
early. Let's be going to market now.